Live. We're going live. We are live. We
Hello,
are
hello,
live.
hello.
Hello. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I do not have a second device to see the chat. Hello, everyone that is coming in. Thank you so much for being here. We're glad to have you here. Okay, I'm just now getting the notice that we're on. So,
If I don't have to do any research in the next few minutes, I can see the chat.
okay, perfect. Perfect.
Um,
We'll give it just a couple minutes for some folks to come in
okay.
and then Leslie, I'm going to watch for Leslie to pop on there. So, tonight, hi Sue, how are you? Great to see you. Tonight is a really important topic, very important. So, I just ask that please, our show is limited. We're only 90 minutes. Sometimes we go a little longer, but we're only 90 minutes. So, please let's stick to the topic at hand so that we can cover all this. Okay, and here is Leslie.
Oh, hello, Leslie.
Leslie, are you there, honey?
Hello.
Ju said
Hello,
hi.
hello. Okay, so we've got Leslie. Now, how are we? Okay, Leslie, I'm gonna put you, hold on. Let me do the layout here so that I have, no, that doesn't do it. Hold on,
That's a
I'm
pretty
sorry,
group.
you guys. This is like real life in real time. Okay, I was gonna try here. Actually, what I'm gonna do, Leslie,
Yes.
is if I remove you from the stage, can you still talk or no? I think I kicked her out.
You might
Wait,
have it.
are you there, Leslie? Are you there, Leslie?
No, you
I'm
kicked her out.
here.
Okay, let me try this though. I don't want to do solo layout. But if I remove you from the stage, you couldn't talk, could you, Leslie?
I was talking.
Yeah, but see, I
Yeah.
had you. Okay, well, we will figure that out at another time. Is what we'll wait.
Okay.
Well, I can
Now I
hear
have,
you and just see Leslie.
yep. Actually, look, that's what I have right now is just Leslie. So, oh my gosh, let's try this. Okay, we're going to do that. All right, so we have 17 people here. Please, if you will, give a thumb. I do not care if it's up or down, but this is such an important show. No, I don't. I
No, I
really
just love the
don't.
way you say give a thumb,
Yeah,
singular.
give a thumb. There's no other finger option but a thumb, but give a thumb. I'm going to try and move this up a little bit because people always say I'm so far away from the camera. And like I said, my setup right now is so bad. Leslie, you missed how I have this set up, but give me 1 second there. Is that better that I'm not falling downhill? Maybe?
20 people and only two in the chat.
Okay, well, great. Well, let's go ahead and let's jump in. My
My blood
chat's
sugar's
not,
dropping quickly.
my chat is not moving, so there's nothing that I can do about that. I wanted to ask, and Jerry Ann, I'll start with you because we're kind of conversation format. How do you feel about the deportation of people being sent to El Salvador?
I think it's disgusting and abhorrible. I think it's unconstitutional. I mean, how many words do you want? Um, I do. It's, in this country we have due process, and no, they're not getting their due process.
Yeah, well, now even if you are illegal in this country, you still have the right to go before a judge.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So,
Even if you're
and
here undocumented, like we said, I know it's a semantics, but to me, I think the illegal gets a very negative connotation that they're all like violent criminals as opposed to just being here undocumented. Remember, not all undocumented people came here illegally; they're just stayed here illegally. So
correct,
that's
correct.
why I like undocumented. Yeah, even they're entitled to due process. Many of them aren't even undocumented,
Right.
as you know, and the way that they've been like shuffled off to Buffalo is just it's deplorable. It really is. It's
Well, what has happened? Let me see if I can do this. Can I make myself big?
yeah, right there.
Okay, there we are. Yay. I just want to read this and be big. And hello, everyone. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday.
I love your
Uh,
bang.
will you stop?
I
Um,
know.
our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who was originally nicknamed Little Marco. If you guys remember that,
Yep.
he was nicknamed Little Marco by President Trump. It was a matter of talking about hand size, and he had little hands compared to President Trump. So he was nicknamed by our president as Little Marco. But in February of this year of 2025, Marco Rubio had a press conference, and he said that El Salvador was gracious enough to take our dangerous, I want to read this so that I have it correct for you guys, okay? They offered to take our dangerous American criminals in custody, and then and that included U.S. citizens and legal residents. And I want to put on my glasses for this part. So El Salvador supposedly offered to take prisoners that were in prison here there. That's what he said. And it was a gracious offer that they made.
The whole time.
And and that U.S. citizens that have committed worse crimes than those. Wait a minute. There's U.S. citizens that have committed worse crimes to other countries. Oh, no. There's U.S. citizens. See, I was abbreviating. I was writing so fast. There's other U.S. citizens that have committed crimes, and other countries are willing to take them. Hi, Val. Welcome in, honey. Other countries are willing to take our other criminals if, he said, if it's legal. So, and he again said it was such a generous offer of El Salvador. He did not mention the other countries that's going to take our prisoners. I didn't know we had a problem with our prison system of holding the prisoners, but now we had an offer from El Salvador that they are going to take our American criminals that are in custody. Now, see, we've been told all along that there's over 2 million criminals that are here. They're felons. They've committed awful crimes. They're from jail, which I still want to know, how did they break out of jail in El Salvador and make it all the way here? Does anybody have any opinion on that whatsoever?
No.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out this darn layout. There. Do I have us all up yet? No. Okay. Give me 1 second. But I want to know, where is our, what is going on with our prison system that we have to now rely on other countries to take our prisoners? What does that say about our prison system? I mean, again, Jerry Ann, Leslie, Chad, we are supposed to be the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
We have a prison system. Now, what has happened that now we are relying on other countries to take our people that have been convicted here? What has happened? What am I missing? Does anybody have an opinion on that?
Well, no deal with this current administration and most administrations, I'll take that back, is one-sided. I don't know what El Salvador is getting in return. I don't know if it's tariffs, more things like they don't just kindly say, hey, let's have all of your deplorables and with nothing in return. I don't see that happening. But that's the stuff we don't get to see, and that's the stuff that happens behind the doors that we don't get to see.
Hi, Cripple Creek, welcome in. Well, but here's the thing. We do give money to El Salvador. There's, I mean, it's public. And there's also a thing right now about possibly giving them even more money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That part is like, it's not something you see on front page news as much. It's not as like, what are they getting from the deal part? You really don't like those bangs. I think they look really pretty. They're framing your face. They're hitting you right in the cheekbones.
They get you.
I'm serious. They're hitting you right in the cheekbone. It looks very pretty. Anyway,
keep it up. I'm gonna get it. Well, the Supermax prison that is in El Salvador is 45 minutes from the capital. Okay, it is called, if I can pronounce this right, Seacote, and it basically is short for Terrorism Confinement Center, is what that is supposed to stand for. Okay. that was built, Seacoast was built in 2022. It opened up in 2023 to hold 80,000 prisoners. Hi, Chetty Hag, how are you? So it was built with the intention of holding 80,000 people, and that prison was built in 7 months. 7 months. And if you guys can visualize this, like if you have a huge mall in your area, it is like a few of those combined. It is massive. And even there is only one way into that prison, and there's at least confirmed 7 checkpoints that you have to go through to get inside of there. Okay. Every prisoner that is put in there will in this particular prison, they are automatically given a 100-year life sentence. They will never see the light of day again. Yeah, well, and what do you think about it, Chatty Hag? But they will never see the light of day again. And as a matter of fact, the only light that they do see in that prison is the light bulbs themselves. They never turn the lights off on them. So that way it confuses their mind that they don't know if it's day or night. And they are combined in cells, opposite gang members. They are put in the same cell. And it is literally what they have for room as a prisoner is 6 times smaller than a prison would be here in the United States. Their bunk beds go 4 tall, no mattresses, no blankets, no pillows. The reason that's given for that is because they might cause a fire. Well, my question is, how do you start a fire if like you're not allowed to smoke, you're not allowed out in a courtyard, so we will make you sleep on metal. Now there is, and you guys can look it up to see truly how beautiful this prison is and the massive amount of guards that they have there. They work at that prison 5 days on and 5 days off. And they have got these beautiful sleeping quarters. There is a massive dining room. And as soon as I saw that, I said to myself, wow, at least the prisoners get out here to eat. That massive dining room's not for them. It's for the guards.
Yeah.
The guards get the dining room, the sleeping quarters, the gym, all the board games, the better food, everything. That's all for the guards. For the prisoners that are there, they are given rice, beans, and tortillas. Sometimes they will switch it up for them a little bit, but they're never served meat. That's not going to happen. They're not going to get meat to eat. So my question is, just from one human being to another, do you think this kind of treatment is right?
Oh, absolutely not.
You know, I don't care about, like right now, the leader of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele is his name. And President Bukele and the former president of Mexico are going back and forth with each other about saying smart stuff to each other. Like Bukele said to the former president of Mexico that maybe you should follow what we're doing and you wouldn't have the problem that you have. And then the former president of Mexico said, we're just fine. You know, all your people pass through our country. Why don't you take care of your daddy? Meaning President Trump, is what he was saying to him. So Bukele and the former president of Mexico are going back and forth at each other. And it's not a good situation. I still want to know, and I can't find it anywhere. And I actually sent an email to Marco Rubio and ask him who these other countries are that are willing to take American prisoners. You know, I want to know. And you guys, if anybody wants to answer this in the chat, please let me know. If you have a loved one that's in prison, that's done something wrong and they're there, and they're shipped to another country, how do you have contact with them? How do you reach them? How do you go to visit them? How do children go to see their fathers or their mothers? How will that happen? You know, and if we're going to start shipping Americans that have done something wrong off of American soil, how do they ever come back? You know what I'm saying? Say like you serve 10 years and then
Sure.
you're released the other country. If they honor that, how do you get back here? Are you allowed back because you were a convicted felon in America? Like, how do you come home? And is home still your home?
Well, that's it.
You know what I'm
And,
saying?
and just because you committed a crime doesn't mean you stop being a U.S. citizen. If you were a U.S. citizen to begin with.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Jerry Ann.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can I ask you really quick to go back and say how long it took them to build this prison?
It took 7 months.
It took
7 months.
the United States 6 months, less than 6 months, to build the Japanese internment camps after World War II.
Mhm.
That's what these remind me of.
Okay, but isn't it amazing how fast things can be built in certain situations? Now,
Yeah.
Texas Val is saying, are we talking about hardened criminals, murderers, rapists, child molesters? What I'm talking about, Val, is anybody that is in U.S. custody somewhere, and how they're going to divide them up. He said, if it's legal. So they're trying to find that out, and it's like, that's exactly what I want to know. Are you going to be separating them by, their crime? Like, hey, you did this, you're going to Argentina. You did this, you're going over here. How do we keep track of all of them then? And then who's going to pay for that if another country's taking them?
Right.
That's what I want to know. So, but,
I have a
and you know
couple
what?
videos I want to put your bed inside.
They talked about how El Salvador, when they had less crime, kids were what? Couldn't find it. Yeah, well, you know what? Yes, and I can even give you I'll give you the statistics, Chatty Hag. And I don't know if you want to be Chatty Hag called that, or if you want to go by your name, just let me know. But here, I have all of my stuff in my little notes, and I will tell you what their crime thing was. I wrote it down. First of all, they ended their civil war in 1992 in El Salvador. And then whenever Bukele came in office, he went into office, I think, in 2019. Then he declared a state of emergency in 2022. Okay. And so from that point that he declared the state of emergency, give me 1 second here. Okay. According to Cristosal, which is like a humanitarian organization, human rights organization, they reported in 2024 that since his state of emergency was called in 2022, that in 2 years, there was over 100,000 people taken into custody. In 2 years, 100,000. And then in April, though, of 2021, it's reported that there were 36,000 in prison. And they were declared, that was okay. In 2021, there were 36,000 in prison. And then in 2022, the state of emergency was called. And then it bumped up the number to 100,000. So that is then almost 3 times their rate. And now we've added some that have gone over there. And now we're talking about splitting up our prison system and shipping people off if they can find a way to do it legally. Leslie, are we missing anything?
No, nothing.
Okay,
so
everybody's
far.
just listening to my big mouth talk.
Yes.
Okay, well, I really did a lot of work on this week because, again, just as a Christian woman, I think of humankind and other human beings, and I always try and put myself in the position of someone else.
Yeah, what we're asked to
And
do.
every person that has been removed from this country is somebody's dad, brother, son, uncle, sister, aunt, whatever. So
Something.
they are somebody to everyone, in their groups. And there is, and I don't want to cry when I say this. Wow, this just upsets me so much. There is a gentleman by the name of Abreo Garcia. And I want to say his name again for anybody that wants to pass it on. His name is Abrego Garcia. He is from Baltimore, Maryland. He is now sitting in a prison in El Salvador. He was given asylum in 2019. And when he was given asylum, the judge said that he had an order that to withhold from removal. Yes, that's him. And Abrego Garcia reported every 3 months, as he was supposed to. He did the requirements of asylum seekers, and he was granted asylum. His wife is a U.S. citizen. And when they gathered up the first round of the couple hundred to be sent to, he has no charges, Val. He has no charges. That's what I'm trying to, you'll see, I'm telling his story. But when they rounded up the first group that was just literally on a list, his name moved up on a list. And now President Trump, and you can Google it, he has confirmed that it was an error that he was sent to El Salvador. Okay? He admits that. Also, the person, let me get his name, because I want to be correct on this. I never want to give misinformation on purpose. Okay? I mean, this story to me was just heartbreaking. I actually sent something to his wife also, so stay tuned on that. It was Robert Sema, the ICE Operating Field Office Director, that also verified that this was an error. So the judge had ordered that Mr. Garcia is to be brought back to the United States. This is just in the past few days, guys. This isn't like an old story. Well, they have informed the judge that they can't get him back, that he's now under the jurisdiction of El Salvador. So he can't come back. And so the family attorney is saying he was never supposed to leave this country. Yes, that's where he is.
That's him. Yeah. His family's recognized his tattoos in one of the pictures. So
They spotted him in a video of when they were taking all these people in.
Yep.
They caught him. So he was given political asylum. Now they're saying, even though he had political asylum, that he's connected to MS-13. What? So, and he has children, and he has a wife, and he's got a mom, he's got a dad, he had a job, but he was, well, in here, Leslie, can you put his name in the chat so people can look him up?
Okay.
I will spell it for you. His first name is Abrego Garcia.
Of course, I wasn't in chat. A-R.
No. Abrego, and then his last name is Garcia.
Okay.
There's a couple names in between there, his middle names, but if you put in Abrego Garcia, you'll be able to look it up. So, and like I said, even the president, you can look up the president's statement that he came out and said, yes, this was a mistake to send this guy over there. Well, my question is to you guys in the chat and anybody who comes back and watches this video. If we can withhold money from the Ukraine, money from here and there, and you're giving money to El Salvador, and we can bring hostages back from all over the world, why can we not demand from El Salvador that they return this man?
yeah.
Why? And they were saying that, well, we can't get him back because once he's in that prison, he's there for 100 years. Well, he wasn't supposed to be in that prison. So you made a mistake, bring him home. There's also a gentleman from Venezuela. There's several people that are there that were shipped to El Salvador that shouldn't be there. So I guess my question is to you guys, if this was your family member, any one of your family members that you love, what would you do? What would you do? And I will point out that Mr. Garcia's family spent a lot of money on an attorney working like dogs to pay for the money for him to be able to apply for asylum. He did everything the right way. Everything. And he's committed no crime here in this country. So is that how, when we have, what's her name, Christie, the head of Homeland Security, whenever she's saying, you know, you're not going to be here if you come here illegally, you're welcome if you come legal. So this man did that through asylum, got it, and then he's shipped off to El Salvador, and then our country admits that he was sent wrongly, and then we're going to just leave him there and turn our backs on him? Yeah, well,
Now,
it
is
just
there-
all came, no, it just
That-
all came out, Val, within the last few days. You can just Google it, or President Trump's statement on, you know, Garcia going to El Salvador. Yeah, you'll see all of it. He was on one of those planes that went to El Salvador, you know, that the judge said, no, you bring it back, they have to come before. And then President Trump said, well, no, because it was already in the air. So, you know, that's how they got to skip going before a judge, is because the plane took off. So, but it's just, I always think, guys, I don't care if you're from China, from Canada, from Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala, I don't care where you're from. I think of people first.
This is America, for the greatest land. We have due process. That's literally one of the things that makes us great.
Yeah.
Is that we have due process. But it's just gone.
But here's the thing, and even coming from a place like El Salvador, he was able to prove that if he ever went back there, he would be killed. That's why he was given political asylum. And now where do we send him and throw him into not even like a maximum security prison? It's known as a supermax security prison. So what is the hope for that? Then if he ends up, you know, being killed there, then do we just say, oops?
And honestly, Rebecca, yes, this is a very, very, very sad thing this guy is going through. But all of them in general, you can't get, even max security prisons here where you're allowed to have visitors, your family come. Who's going to fly to El Salvador to see their loved one on Christmas? Who can afford
no.
that?
Back that up. That up. When you're in a supermax prison,
not supermax. When you're maximum security, I said.
Right. But when you're in that supermax one, there are no visitors.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is here, if they were in their maximum security prisons here, what are you giving me? Oh, yeah, you can put them down. I'm sorry. My husband just came in with chicken nuggets. I don't know. He heard my blood sugar got low. My blood sugar dropped, and he brought me in chicken nuggets and dipping sauce. Sorry.
Okay. Wait. I have to address this with Big Mama. She says, well, he was a suspected active member of the criminal gang. Wait a minute. I lost it now. Of the criminal gang MS-13, according to an informant at his 2019 bond hearing. You know what, honey? I'm going to disagree with you on that, because that's when he was granted political asylum. It's just now that they just had this last hearing that the person from ICE said, well, he's a suspected MS-13, which if he's from El Salvador, he's not even going to be connected to MS-13.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother story. But they just kind of threw that in there, and he's been convicted or jailed for nothing. So that's simply not true. So you need to reread that again.
And being accused of something doesn't make you guilty of it.
Right. But this wasn't the case. If that was, he wouldn't have gotten political asylum from El Salvador. MS-13, remember, that's what our border czar says, has brought all the drugs from Mexico. So that's the wrong country. Totally wrong country. Well, and Val says, okay, I'll read about it. I can't imagine if he's freeing other prisoners of war. That's right. But that he wouldn't bring back an innocent man. Exactly. But now they're just saying that he is in custody of El Salvador. And you can read it verbatim as to what the president says.
So
So,
Rebecca, what I was trying to say was they've taken people from max, not super max, but they've taken people from maximum security prisons to go there. So people who
yeah,
could have had family visit here will not be able to visit them there.
correct.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't understand though. Why are we, and I didn't even know this. I haven't seen it in the news anywhere, nothing. And I watch all the news channels all day long. I'm constantly stopping my work and watching the news. But I have not seen any story anywhere that we are sending prisoners other places and then wanting to. What are we getting rid of our prison system and then going to pay all these other countries? I was shocked by it. That's what I'm saying, you guys.
Yeah.
If you open your minds and you're not to the left or to the right and you stay in the middle and just read the stories as you see them, and then you'll jump to another and another, it is mind blowing the stuff that you'll find out. Like I will
Right.
bring up, like last week when I was doing my research on Elon Musk, I had no idea he had a transgender daughter named Vivian that he doesn't speak to, that he has no relationship with. Oh, and what I did forget to mention, the baby that he has, the baby mama, that the little, well, she's a
Toddler.
baby mama. The
I
one
know,
that
but
he has ex Asher with,
Yeah.
she's the singer one. And she said prior to the, what is it, the campaigning for presidency, that he really did not have any relationship with his child prior to that.
I believe
But
it.
my question back to her would be, then why would you give your child over to him to be with him all the time? But that's
For
another
bonus.
subject. Yeah, but I'm
For a
just giving an
bonus.
example that whenever you do your research, the amazing things that you will come across, and then it will lead you to something else. Hi, Mary Ramirez. How are you tonight? And Mary is saying about we brought the Tate brothers back, right? And that when you're around a brown person, it really doesn't matter. No, in this case, Mary, it's not just brown people that we're talking about, sweetheart. We're talking about all colors that are now
Yeah.
going to be shipped off to another country. If, like Marco Rubio says, if we can make it legal, that's what we're going to do. So that's what
Sorry,
we're going to do.
everybody.
Well, Otter Mama, hello, says, unfortunately, no system is perfect. I'm sorry. When it comes to playing with human lives and sending them somewhere else and stuff, that's not just
Even close.
a little oops in our system. That
Our
should
system
not
was
be accepted or tolerated.
our system wasn't ever perfect to like this much. Now it's like let's make it worse instead of better.
Jerry, you're muffled, honey.
Oh, sorry.
Talk
Is that
again.
better?
A little better. Turn the earbud off.
Yeah.
I have this problem with people all the time, even on the phone with them.
Is that better?
A lot better.
Okay, good.
And then they get a
Sorry.
list. I am so against the earbuds.
No, sorry. I just can't hear you. I couldn't hear you talking before. So I was like 5 spaces behind. What I was saying was the prison system, like the system was faulty before, like this much. Now it's like, let's make it worse instead of better.
Okay, well, it's true. And Christine is saying, if indeed there was a mistake made, our great president will see to it that it is corrected. Well,
He
I
can't.
hate
Well,
to
he
inform
tried.
you that he has already admitted, and again, look it up. That's how I found it. I didn't know that they had even admitted to anything. But yes, he does admit that there was a mistake made. Did he say anything about bringing him back? No. He just said, oops, it was a mistake. So
Sorry, that's what I was doing before Jim came in with the chicken nuggets. I was trying to find the article. Sorry.
okay, Big Mama is saying the last administration played with human lives. You know what? It even goes one further back, Big Mama, with all the detention centers that were made to collect all these minors. And there's several detention centers all across the country. The one in Brownsville was built to hold 20,000 people. And that started with President Obama and has continued with each administration. What has happened to all these kids that have been in cages?
Yeah.
You know, literally their entire lives. So it goes back a few administrations and nobody cares. But I was just shocked, and that's what I'm sharing with you. I literally was shocked that we're talking about sending American prisoners to not just El Salvador, but to other countries. Right, but Otter Mama, the main part of MS-13 is from Mexico. That
Yeah.
is, if you listen to our border czar, that is why he's going even to the schools, because he claims that the MS-13 from Mexico has brought the drugs into our country. So, yeah, well, you know what? And God bless her, Chatty Hag, but what is going on right now with these people being sent over there, even the first few hundred that went, that were sent over there, they need to be brought back. You want to tell me in a prison that can hold tens of thousands of people that you can't find a few hundred? Come on now. Come on. And as strict as they say that they are, and that they literally watch every move that they make, they all shower together in those rooms. They have two toilets, so they go to the bathroom together, they shower together, they eat together. Everything is monitored. Everything. And if you guys notice that, exactly, well, Mary, he said there was nothing he could do about it because they're under the El Salvadorian government right now. But yes, that's what I said. That he said, "Oops, yeah, we sent them there. Oops, you know, Mr. Garcia went there, but no, there's nothing. A country as big and as great as America, and that is funding tons of money to El Salvador. No, there's no way we can bring him back." I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that. And again, just the human factor. I know a lot of people that say, again, get rid of everybody. Instead, I always say, be careful what you wish for. But when you have somebody, regardless of the color of his skin, that was supposed to be here and he's shipped out, think if your mother, your husband, your brother, if they were shipped out, would you just turn your head and say, well, sometimes there's mistakes made? Sometimes mistakes happen. So what? So a
Rebecca, I
man
would
that
like. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, honey. Sorry.
sorry, I'm just so passionate about this because
I
I'm
know. I
heartbroken
know.
about it.
I wanted to just
And
ask you personally a question that not she, but people are kind of bringing up. Yes, if they're criminals, they don't belong here legally, blah, 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 blah. Yes, the internment camps here, at the border, that type of thing. There's people that move with their families. As a person who may or may not have people who are undocumented here or are documented and may get snatched away at any moment's notice, would you rather them be in a cage on the border of Mexico or be shipped to Venezuela in this situation? So the cages that are on the borders obviously get a lot of heat, for sure. They don't want to put them in prison, so it's not quite prison, but it's a detention center, but it is prison. But you know what I'm saying? But would you rather them be closer to home than be in a different country where you couldn't have access to them or their lawyers couldn't have access? You couldn't have access to their lawyers or anything?
I honestly would leave it up to my loved one
Okay.
because they were the one that had, like, specifically, if it was my husband. I've told you guys this many times, and it
Mhm.
still is my fear of my husband being
Sure.
picked up. What if it was my husband on that plane?
That's
What
what
if
I'm
it was
saying.
Val's husband on that plane?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay,
The
Big Mama,
depends.
I don't know what you're talking about. Extreme circumstances call for extreme measures. Are you talking about the extreme circumstance of this man being shipped over there, Mr. Garcia being shipped by mistake to El Salvador, that we should be immediately getting him back? Is that what you're talking about?
And he's only one that we know about because his family is coming forward.
Well, because you know why? It takes money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my
You need
point.
an attorney.
That's my
You
point.
know, that's the
His
only
family is
reason.
able to do that for him. And he's just one that we know about because his family is able to do that for him. Could you
Mm-hmm.
imagine? You know,
Yep. But here is the thing with it, is that, again, if it was my loved one, he got on there, Val, because he was picked up by ICE.
yeah, they put him on there. He
It
didn't really
wasn't
have a
like,
choice.
yeah, it wasn't like he was at the airport and got on the wrong plane. They literally went to
It's not
his
funny,
home
but yeah.
and they picked him up, is what they did. They
And
have a
again, no due
list.
process. Right, exactly.
They have a list, and You know, he was, I want you guys to remember this, that when the kids, we only found out one time, I think 4 years ago, and it was in June. For a couple of weeks, we heard about the kids in the detention centers. And then one time, and then those were gone. Yes, he was here legal. He had political, not has
exactly.
political asylum. That is
Yep.
very, very hard to get in this country. Very hard. So, very hard. But okay, Big Mama is saying she believes that he should be brought back, but the position of her country was put in with open borders for a year. Nope, I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy that. Because again,
No.
if that was my husband, I don't care. And again, I'm being honest. Wait, but
I
committing
am
a
curious
crime.
why everybody thinks the borders were open. Like, why do they think the borders were more open? Because I've shared the Homeland website for you guys for the ICE and Homeland Security that talks about how many more people the previous administration put on, how many more guards, how many more detainees, how many people they're trying to get more people processed, so
Right.
people don't have to come in illegally. I've shared that with
Texas
you guys before.
Texas
ahead,
Val
honey.
is confused about his status here. Abrego Garcia had political asylum. Consider that almost like a green card.
Yeah.
Okay. Just harder to obtain because you have to prove what would have happened to you and why you left your country and all of that.
Wasn't he also married to a U.S. citizen?
Yes. That's
Legally,
what, and
so
he
he
has
would have had a
children.
green. Yeah, he would have had a green card that way anyway, right?
No. The
No?
thing of marrying a U.S. citizen, I don't
Is that
remember the
rolled back?
year. That's been taken away. You can no
Oh.
longer get citizenship through marriage.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's been around now for several years. Way back, I remember back like in the 80s and 90s, people would marry people for $5,000. They thought that was a
Yeah.
lot of money when they're young. No, you can no longer get citizenship through marriage. You have to apply for it on your own. So
Oh,
that does not
wow.
work unless you come in from another country with that K-9 visa. That's the only way. But like if you're living here in the States and you think that you're going to apply through marriage, it ain't going to happen.
So I want to just tell everybody, because I didn't know, while marrying a U.S. citizen can expedite the path to citizenship, it doesn't guarantee it. A marriage green card allows individuals to apply for citizenship after 3 years versus the usual 5 years. That if you just,
Right.
wanted to come here on a green card.
And I can tell you that whenever my husband and I were married and my husband had a green card, he did the green card stuff on his own.
Yeah.
And then when he was applying for citizenship, at that time we could have done it simply through marriage. And he was adamant that he wasn't doing it that way, that
Yeah.
he was going to take the tests, the U.S. Constitution. He can tell you how many senators, representatives, he knows it all. Because seriously,
Yeah.
he looks at being
No,
here
I
in
love
America.
that. I tell that story to everybody, by the way. I just want to let you know.
Well, but he did, so that nobody could
No,
ever
it's a great
say
story.
that
Right.
he did it
Right,
through
exactly.
marriage.
Exactly.
So, and in July will be 42 years that we've been married. So
Yep.
it isn't like, I'm a fling and he just did it to impress me. We're past the impression stage. I'm serious. So,
No, I know you are. I just
um,
love the way you tell the story. I love it.
well, he could have taken the short way out
Yeah,
and
but
did it the easy way, but he didn't. And he took
and that's how you know
being,
he loves you.
yes, well,
He
but
didn't just
he
want to marry
also,
you for your body. I mean, for your green card.
no, well, but the thing is that he takes pride in being an American.
Yeah.
He takes pride in being here in this country and the opportunities that it's given him. So he never takes that for granted, ever, 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 ever.
Be
So
ashamed if we did.
yeah, but the thing is like even with the situation with this supermax prison, what I noticed that was different is that wait a minute. Texas Val talking about my man. I got to scroll up here. I mean, he did everything right, and he did part of being American. Exactly. So, and he has American pride. Just sometimes when he wants to wear those flag shorts, I'm like, oh, no, no, not out in public, honey. Yeah, but he loves buying that flag clothing. It's Tommy or it's Nautica. I don't care. You're not wearing that. But in that prison, what they used to do before the Supermax one was done, when they took the prisoners in, yeah, their hands were shackled, and then they walked in with their head up. Now, if you see, and they made it very dramatic with the ones that they just brought from America, and they have them bent forward. You know what I'm saying? Their body is half bent. Do you know where that comes from? That comes from Russia. That's how Russia marches their prisoners. And they do it that way because they say there's least resistance and least chance of attacking a guard. So they walk them bent over so they're looking at the ground. Try walking like that. See what you can see.
Nothing. Oh, I was saving a picture to show you that the guards are all faces covered.
Yeah.
They look like they're criminals.
Well, they say that they do that though for their own protection and for their family. I'm sorry, but like if I saw you, let me take off my glasses. But if I saw you and you were a guard and I was a prisoner, how would I know from your face who your family members are? And how am I going to contact anyone when I don't even get a phone? You know, you get no phone calls, nobody. So I think that part with them is a little over dramatic.
Yeah.
The other thing too that I noticed that now this prison's been open for a couple of years now, and you got all these people there. I noticed that everything is brand spanking new. Everything, even the shoes, the socks, the shorts, the shirts that these guys are given, the bed, everything is brand new. Now, I don't think that they built all that by themselves. I'm still trying to find out where that money came from. Are you talking about me?
Who?
Wait. Otter Mama says you're just steamrolling the chat. Who you be talking to, Otter Mama? Make
Somebody in the
yourself clear. Leslie, do you know what's going on?
Mary was saying Biden shouldn't be blamed for the next 50 years, and Christina said he should be blamed for the next 50 years.
Okay.
So
Go ahead, honey. Go ahead.
that's it.
Okay, here's the deal, guys. Leslie is our chat mod. If you are rude to someone else, Leslie will block you immediately. I want everyone that comes to this show with us three, me, Jerry, and Leslie, I want you to be able to put your opinions and thoughts in the chat. Because even though I might miss things, I will go back and reread them. And some of you know, I've even contacted you or left you messages or whatever. I want you to put your opinions and thoughts in this chat. There's no right or wrong answer here, but
Yeah.
you're allowed to speak here. And if you think you're going to be mean to someone else and tell them you're talking too much, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go because I want everyone to feel safe and open here.
Otter Mama is saying you are not reading the chat, just defending yourself nonstop with your views.
I'm defending myself.
Defending yourself nonstop with your views.
Wow. Okay. Leslie, do you know how to do that for me, honey? You know what, Otter Mama? I'm allowed to speak. This is my channel.
Yeah. That's what you signed up for.
Yeah.
She's always invited everybody in. If you want to be on the panel, you don't have to show your face. She said it 1,000 times.
That's right. Anybody's
if you want to be
invited.
heard.
Yeah. This is a thing for me, Otter Mama, that, and again, if you want to say your name, that's great. If you want to be known as an otter, that's fine. But yeah, I kind of do hours and hours of research, and this is something that upset me so much, and I was so passionate about that what our country is doing, that, yeah, I'm going to talk on things that are like that. See, it's kind of like my channel, my show. I can do what I want. I'm very protective over the um, chat because I want other people to feel comfortable to talk. But and I'm reading the things. Leslie's reading them, and if you think I'm not supporting the chat, well, then you might want to go somewhere else tonight, Otter Mama. That's all I can say. Okay. No, Jerry, I'm being serious.
No,
Like
I
if
am.
if the otter doesn't like what I'm saying or that I'm talking too much, you can type as much as you want in the chat, and either I'm going to read it or Leslie's going to read it, but we're going to read it. And if you don't like me talking, what do you want me to do? Sit here so you can just look at me?
Yeah, that's
There,
what we're here for.
let me
She's
scoot up
here
a
to
little
give her
closer.
opinion. I'm here to give my opinion, and then she shares her whole opinion, and she discusses it.
Right. Do you just want me to sit here so
You're
you can
so
look at me?
beautiful.
We can do that. But it'll be another show, not this one. Okay.
Big Mama says she agrees with Texas Val, and Val's comment was, it's actually not fair to citizens like your husband who did everything right while others just walk across.
I agree with that. But you know what? Here's the thing. If you're going to send people, first of all, let me say this. Being a member of a gang is not a crime. Actually, we're all kind of like a gang being here in a chat together. Being in a gang is not a crime. Doing bad things when you're a member of a gang, that's a different story.
Yep.
Okay? So, when you take people to a country that you say were illegal here, you're not, I mean, again, our head of Homeland Security has said they're child molesters, rapists, they're, criminals, they're felons, this and that. Well, why don't you show us some pictures and some arrest records of them? Why don't you do that? Instead of just telling us all of these things, putting these people on a plane, zipping them out of the country, and you don't take them to a border and drop them off. You deliver them to a supermax prison. Why? And then the prison there automatically accepts them and sentence them to 100 years. What is that? If you don't want them here and they were from, never mind the other countries, you got them confused and put them on that plane. But why didn't you take them to the border and drop them off? Why didn't you take them to a state park and drop them off? Why did you take them to a supermax prison and now claim that you can't get any of them out? That does not make sense to me. Does it to you guys?
Nope.
Am I thinking wrong?
Nope. You're
Am
not
I
thinking
thinking
wrong, and it
wrong?
doesn't make sense.
Hi, Janice. Yeah, they don't even have to hit a thumb up. You can hit a thumb down, but just, so the show gets out. I want people to know about Mr. Garcia. I want them to know his story.
And
I
think
mean,
about those who we talked about that don't have families who can afford to represent them, like Mr. Garcia, that are
that's right.
probably in there as well.
Well, and his name again is Abrego Garcia. And I can tell you what we paid at the time that we paid for immigration attorney and stuff. It was a lot of money, and a lot of work. Back in the day, working a couple jobs and stuff to pay that money to pay the immigration attorney who's then, hi, Sue, welcome in, honey. And then you're working two jobs to pay this money to an attorney. And of course, somebody that's your own color and your own race is totally ripping you off and calls you and goes, hey, I need another $3,000. For what? We just paid you 5,000. Well, I need another 3,000. Or no, I can't do that thing. Too much. Oh, I need another 2,500. For what? You told us it was no, there's things that have come up and I have to file this. Of course, they're ripping off their own people and it's horrible. Horrible. So, but we did it. Didn't we give that prison $6 million to take the prisoners? Oh, Chatty Hag, good for you. Looking up the money trail. See, I didn't want to say anything about it. And how much money do we give every month to El Salvador? And what's it for? See, I'm glad somebody's looking up some stuff. So, and don't you think, let me ask you this, don't you think for a couple hundred prisoners, $6 million is a lot of money?
Yes.
Yeah, see, there you go. Chatty Hag, you are going to get a star tonight. Yes. Chatty Hag says, isn't being part of MS-13 now considered being part of a terrorist organization? A member of that gang illegal? Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, I never heard that. That's all I was going to say. Do you want me to look that up?
Okay, here's the thing. There's a lot of things now that, see, well, I'm glad that you're reading. Again, that
Yeah.
is the whole reason for this
Purpose
show.
of this show.
Yes, is to get people thinking and reading stuff, not just sitting and watching the news and it's a news
Yep.
story and then you go on with your life.
Yeah.
Think about where Abrego Garcia's family is tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what they're doing and they're going through. And that's like, I'm telling you guys, if I come on One Night Live and tell you that my husband is gone and I have no clue where he is, I know he didn't run off with someone 20 years younger. I know that. Better know that. No, I'm kidding. But I know that he hasn't, ran off. I know what would have happened to him. So, and if he wasn't returning home and I got the news that he was taken to another country, I wouldn't even know what to think, what to do, where to turn, nothing. I mean, at this point, we're not two people, we're one.
90% of the people that I know that are not my family are Puerto Rican and dark-skinned Puerto Ricans. And I fear for them every single day. Every single day. They live in Florida and they live in Texas. Some live in New York still, but they live in Florida and they live in Texas. And I am scared every single day. Because they won't be asked. They won't be, and they don't carry their birth certificates.
No.
They were never nothing ever worried about having to do that before.
You're okay. But the one thing is that the
Is that Mr. Cutie?
It's Mr. Cupcake. Mr. Cutie's over there. But yeah, I name everyone in my family. But the thing of it is, wait, there's a question here. Let's see. Chatty has my daughter's good friend is going to Mexico for the next 2 weeks. Oh, I don't like her already. She's afraid they just closed escrow on Monday. Wait a minute. She bought a house in Mexico. She's afraid they just closed escrow on Monday here. Oh, what do you mean? She just bought a house here and she's going to Mexico?
I am going to share a chart for those who are interested. I just want to show you while she's talking. All you do is press month to month and you compare 2024 to 2025 of people who have been apprehended at the border. And you can go back to different years too. From here, you can go back all the different years. I just want you to know this is from the the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, .gov. So it's official. It's not me having one friend said, you and your Google education.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, as long as you follow up with Google and make sure that it's real after that, though.
Yeah.
So you guys can go, if you want to go to Department of Homeland Security.gov, it's DHS.gov. There's statistics there about the last 4 years to compare to this, to 4 years before that and the 4 years before that. You can go back forever. Find the statistics. You'll find the charts. You'll see the statistics. I appreciate what you might have heard from your news and your candidates, but the fact is, go to the source. I always tell everybody, go to the source. If you think you hear something that sounds, even if it sounds exactly like what you were hoping for, go to the source. Get it from the horse's mouth.
Yep, definitely. And I'm telling you, once if one of these topics gets your brain going and stuff, and you start looking things up, you will be amazed at what you find out. Val is wanting to know: are we talking about apprehensions at the border?
Me personally or them? Like the
You,
conversation is about.
you.
Oh, I'm just talking about statistics. Not only apprehensions, it talks about how many people were let in. You have to just look up in the little search box what actually you're looking for, specific categories of what you're looking for. It even talks about how that you can go back and find out what they proposed for their budget for 2025, for what they wanted for their budget for the following year, what they were allowed to have, how many people were hired, how many people were let go. You know, this mass governmental firing, it affects everybody. You know, it affects
Okay.
everybody. So
Well, now Val is talking about because Biden didn't allow apprehensions. He just said, "Come on in, no need for apprehension."
no, he didn't say
Actually,
that.
right, there was a law in place that was still going to be in effect for how many more months was it, Jerry Ann?
Which law
Before
was
that,
it? I'm done.
before that law expired, it had like it was like B-78 or something. It had a number before it, and so they were allowed to come in, and but they came before the expiration time. And the only way that I know this is because people that we had met years ago in Mexico that were from other countries that had passed through Mexico illegally, when they heard about this law, and Biden was actually concerned about it being in effect and said this is in effect, I think, for 100 days, tens of thousands of people that had passed through Mexico, not Mexicans, but all the other countries that had come through there, they headed for the border to wait for him to be elected to come across. Juan,
I lost my glasses.
okay, excuse me 1 second. Whenever Ari when they crossed over the border, where did they eventually end up crossing at? Where? San what? Tamaritas. Tamari. Did he say Tama? I don't know what my husband's saying, but anyway, we had friends that he's telling me Tamaritas or something. I don't know, but
In
they
Texas?
had tried to cross several times, and then they hi B lady, and B lady's here, Jerry,
Hi, B lady.
but they had
Sorry,
tried
I
to
lost
cross
my glasses.
several times. They could not get across, and then someone told them no, go over here and cross. So then whenever they crossed, when they got there, the ICE officers were on the other side. They literally went through the water. Ari said she was scared to death. They stayed in the detention camps for 3 weeks. They separated husband and wives, men, women, and then they went before a judge after their first hearing in Texas. They were able to fly out immediately to Florida because they were from Cuba and they were applying for political asylum. So that's
And
what
those,
happened.
that's when you told me those are the people who receive government assistance. Those are the only people, right? Oh no, you said
Yes,
only if they come from a
you have
communist
to.
state. So Cuba is a communist country still.
Yes. So
So
they
you said if
got
they come from a
money.
communist country.
They
Yes,
got
ma'am.
money. They got food stamps. And that is the thing that America gets so confused on, that every person that comes in here illegally is getting food stamps, medical care. It's simply not true. You have to be somebody, and it doesn't even mean every person that has a political asylum is getting it. The Chinese are actually the number one people that get political asylum. Don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah.
But, and even like thousands and thousands of Chinese people literally flew into Mexico and crossed and got their coordinates off TikTok as to where to stand for ICE to come to pick them up. And the ones who could afford, that they're middle class to upper class, they literally are shown coming through a part in the gate where they could get into the U.S. and they're pulling suitcases. That's middle to upper class. The poorer class Chinese had to travel through Mexico because they couldn't afford the flight and stuff to get there. But
Right.
they were able immediately, and as they're being interviewed as to why they did this, and they said because applications for political asylum are months behind, so coming here it was faster. So, like, whose fault is that? Hey, Lalo, how are you,
Exactly.
honey? Yo, yo.
I don't know
So,
about the law that you're talking about, but I'm gonna look it up. I have it saved in my search feature.
Okay.
I'm looking now, but it's just talking about the first 100 days. I wish I knew.
What did I do now? Wait.
Oh no, I'm here.
Okay, I hit the wrong thing. Leslie, can you catch us up on the chat thing? And I'm going to step away just a second to turn the air up. I'm freezing to death.
Sure. Jerry, B Lady is saying hi.
Hello, sweetheart.
And that she said to look for her on Sunday, that she's usually in your chat. But
That's right. And you don't see her, Jerry. Remember I told you
No,
that.
yeah, that's
yeah.
weird.
She says, Jerry, what is your take on that man who was sent to that bad prison by mistake? They are saying he is part of MS-13.
Well, like one of the things Rebecca just said a few minutes ago, first of all, being affiliated with a gang is not a crime. Even if they say that, some people say it's a terrorist organization, you have to have due process. You have to say, I did something wrong. However, in his case, it's not the case. He just was there by accident. Even the president's administration admitted that that was an accident, but they couldn't get him back. That was one of the things we talked about before. But I personally think the entire thing is abhorrent. Like, I really think the entire thing is unconstitutional. To move prisoners to a different country away from their home and be treated like it's, yes, it's, I guess, a livable situation, but it's nothing like the prisons here. The food, the way that they don't have mattresses to sleep on. I mean, that's not American. As a matter of fact, I think that there is now my brain just went to.
Okay. Well, now they used to let them, though, Jerry. They used to be able to have attorneys' visits in some of the prisons and stuff. In the Supermax.
In Venezuela? I mean, in
El Salvador.
El Salvador.
But in the Supermax, when you're there, you're there. You're not getting any of that. And they did. I saw documentation of that they had a room set up where they saw attorneys and judges on camera. But now, under Nayib, what's his name, Bukele, you get no visits, no visitation, no attorneys, nothing. So nothing. Did I say nothing? I meant nothing.
It seems very un-American. It seems very. I'm trying to remember. That's the name of the place. It's neutral. It's not Sweden, Switzerland. The Swiss accord that says about how to treat prisoners. I think that's an international law that you're not supposed to treat prisoners, even prisoners of war. You're not supposed to treat them a certain way. They have to be humane, and I don't think that the pictures that they've shown are not very humane.
Okay.
They're sitting 10 to a giant cot, 12 feet in the air. Like, what happens if you roll over asleep in the middle of the night, or the guy next to you gives you an elbow in the ribs?
Well, literally,
fall down on the ground and can commit concussion or something. Sorry.
With the ones that we have that were just sent over there, and they're showing them then placed in the cell, there's literally 4 of those 4 high bunk beds together. So like you go 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're number 2 or 3, how do you even get in your spot on the top between all those guys? And
Exactly.
see, they say the reason that they put them together is because they want them to know that their gangs don't care about them.
Yeah. B Lady's question was about the people who are illegally here, or that's only for non-citizens. What Rebecca was stating before is that this is all kinds of people are getting moved. All kinds of maximum security people are being moved. It's not just people who came to the country undocumented or have committed crimes. It's just there's other people too.
As we
Right.
say, white,
And
brown, black, blue, all of them, you know?
well, now,
Yeah.
B Lady is talking about these two gang members or gang organizations that they're foreign terrorists. Those are not two gangs from El Salvador. El Salvador's two gangs are one that's the number 18 and something else, but that's not gangs that are predominantly in El Salvador. So,
Yeah.
um, so no, we can't use that against them. And I do want to point out with the thing for Abrego Garcia, MS-13 was not attached to his name until
No.
the last few days that they have said that they speculate. Well, guess what? You could speculate that about me. You know what I'm saying?
You could speculate that he's from
I'm
Mars.
seriously. Laylo, if you're
No,
still
me
here,
too.
yo, you know I'm a gang member, right? I'm a YouTube gang member. So I'm serious.
I'm a Christian. No, I mean, any group
Right.
can be
But
considered a gang.
I'm
That's what
suspecting you're a gang member.
I am.
But it could happen to any of us, is my
Yes.
point, you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Any of us. And it might be just a news story until it hits home with you, till it affects you personally.
Exactly.
That you are there wondering where your loved one is, how you're going to get them back, if you're going to get them back. Your life is going to change instantly. And if we are now infringing upon, we're going beyond immigration, beyond deportation, that we're going to be shipping U.S. citizens to other countries that have committed crimes here.
Yep.
Have we heard up until this time, have we heard that our prisons are so overcrowded that we need to send them somewhere? Have we heard
No.
that?
No, I haven't.
I'm just saying, wake up, people. Wake up. Because, and I think, and to be in all fairness to, again, to President Trump, I don't think this is his plan. I think this has been a plan along several administrations that's been passed on to him. That's what I
Yeah.
think. There is no
You think
way.
so about the deporting prisoners?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you think so? No, I'm saying you think it's been going on for a long time?
Oh yeah. You
Oh.
know what? Quietly, and look it up, folks. President Obama deported a few million people. Look it up, Jerry. Nobody knew about that till after he was out of office. But he did that, and I was disappointed in that. Because here's the thing, if you're not doing anything wrong, and that the American public should be, knowing about things that are going on, right? Why did we not hear that? And I didn't find it out until after he was out of office.
Well, did he deport them without due process? Or is that what you're saying?
I just know, no, I don't even know. I just know that
okay.
he deported a few. Put it this way, if all those people were going through the court systems, don't you think we would have known about it?
Well, no, because not if they went what I'm asking you is, did you hear a record that in January of 2016, 10 billion people were deported? That's different than over the course of an 8-year administration, 10 million people were deported. You see
2
the
million.
difference.
It was
No,
over 2 million, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying
just
2 million over the course of 8 years as opposed to 2 million at one time.
Oh no, it wasn't at one time. It was
Right.
over time.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. They probably could have had due process and still been deported.
Okay.
Over 8 years. It's an 8-year administration.
I know that you love President Obama and Michelle. I know that.
Oh, that's got nothing to do with it.
But
no,
right.
that part has nothing
I
to
know,
do with it.
but I'm saying, here is the thing. How do you deport that many people without the American public knowing what's going on? That's not like it's 100 people a month. That's a lot of people every month. So why did you start putting people in cages, children to be exact? Then he didn't just do it. So did President Biden. Then President Trump, when President Trump was running, he brought it up that why do you have children in cages? Okay, now he's in office. What are you doing about those kids in cages?
Well, he had kids in cages the first 4 years. That's when it first came to surface.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff is not coming just from one administration. I think
Sure.
it's been passed on and they go, hey, okay, I'm going to continue that, because you guys need to know this. And I don't know, maybe you do know it, but the person who is the spokesperson for our government, whether it's Republican, Democrat, if it's an independent that is elected, they are the spokesperson for the party with the agenda behind them. That's like when President Trump, oh, I already see Jerry going, I don't know about that,
No,
Rebecca.
I don't know what you mean. I'm trying to figure out what you mean. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like, what
What
do you mean
I'm
by
saying
spokesperson? Like
is,
the press chief, the press staff? The
nope,
chief
I'm saying
oh,
like our president. Our
right.
president does not come up with all these ideas and the agenda on
Oh,
his
of
own.
course. No, not yeah, absolutely.
And even when he was first in office, what was the problem there? That when he was giving a speech, he was going rogue, which for those of you that don't know, that means when he was given a script like this, and yes, I write on paper bags, when he was given, hey, it's hotel living, you write on what
No,
you
I
got,
know.
baby.
We were talking
But
about that already, right?
when he was given a script, he was supposed to read it to the American public verbatim. He did not do that. So it was always the backlash of that President Trump has gone rogue. Well, the reason being is there are script writers for the president, and he is the front man for the party that got him to run, that poured the money into his election. It is their agenda. And our president is the spokesperson for the agenda behind him for the party that he ran for. And that doesn't matter if the name is Trump. Hi, Nikki, my little hand holder. But so I don't care if it's President Biden, if it was President Obama, if it's President Kennedy. They have I'm serious. They
No, I
have,
laughed about President Kennedy. Sorry, go ahead.
but
Sorry.
because it goes back that far,
Yeah,
that I
exactly.
mean, just like whenever President Trump ran for president, he was approached to join the party. And then, if you guys remember, in the first time that he was elected, um, the Republican National Committee wanted him to drop out. He was put into the race just to make sure that Hillary Clinton would not win. So then, when they wanted him to drop out and he would not, what did they do? They threatened to vote him out at the Republican National Convention. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I'm not dropping out. So then, when they go back, crunch all their numbers and stuff, do their statistics, they knew the only way to beat the Democrats were to leave him in. So they didn't vote him out and he won. So, but I mean, it's the party behind you that is the machine. It's not the person. Like, if I was up there if I won as president as the Republican nominee or as the Democrat one, all those that are behind me that are the movers and shakers that the American public will never see. You won't even know the names of these billionaires that do this stuff. They are really the ones running our government, not our president.
Yeah.
Agree or disagree, Jerry?
Oh, agree. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
The buck
chat?
stops with the president, but seriously, it is. It's just definitely with the party behind them. And what's very disappointing about so many things, but what's very disappointing about President Biden's presidency at the end is that he had a chance to really make some huge differences and, just didn't choose to do them, good positive
Well,
things. Do you know that the ERA is the Equal Rights Amendment is still not signed? It's not an amendment. Did you know that?
no.
Women are entitled to the same amount of money as men, the same rights as men. That's not a law yet. It's just still out there waiting to be voted on. And he could
Well,
have just
put it this way, it wouldn't surprise me. But you know what the thing of it is? That with, again, President Biden and Vice President Harris both talked about immigration and things needed to be done and stuff, and the administration before that, and Trump during his. And the fact of the matter is, now we've jumped a few steps. We're breaking the law. and we're literally taking away people's rights. Good night, Mary. God bless you, and thank you for coming, sweetheart.
Which Mary?
Mary Ramirez.
Oh, bye, Mary.
And God bless you. Leslie, do you want to catch us up if we're missing anybody?
Sure. Let's see.
And nobody make fun of my bad bangs. Do you see
I
them?
love your bangs.
Stop it.
I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not joking. Did you know that? Do you see them landing right at your cheekbones?
Yeah. Let's go to
They're
where
right
are
in
my
your
cheekbones?
face.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Even I have cheekbones. Big, fat, round cheeks, but when I smile, you see them.
No.
Or see something,
Limber
anyway.
says to the bee lady, why do you think that only citizens have constitutional rights? America tends to extend our constitutional rights to everyone.
Wait a minute. Who said that? Who said that?
Limber.
Limber.
Yeah.
Oh, Limber
You're
said that
actually,
to be lady.
and
Yes.
and you are actually correct that yes.
Yes. To everyone who is within our borders, because we are humane.
That's right.
Yes. And Bee Lady and Mary were just talking a lot, going back and forth about citizenship. And Bee Lady states to Mary, I agree, but unfortunately, not everyone looks at blacks like they are human. Trust me, I'm a black woman.
Unfortunately, she's got a point.
Okay, here, go ahead. Look at them. Look what a bad job. They're talking about bangs. Go ahead.
And your bestie says she needs to see Mr. Cutie.
You, or is that?
Hi, Mr. Picky.
Was that me losing you guys, or was that Rebecca losing you guys?
Me losing who? No, I was just showing them that are talking about bangs. Go ahead and look
No,
at what I did.
the signal went out, and all the talking went out. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Val
says we are all
this is often caused by unstable internet and closer to your router or your Wi-Fi. Is that for me, or is that is that for you? I don't know.
What should I watch? Okay, I'm just gonna say to anyone listening, did you not ever have a time that you could not go get your hair cut? So you just grabbed a pair of like craft scissors and said, you know what? I can do this. And then you go in the bathroom mirror and you just grab the bangs and you think that you can like do what your hairstylist does. And then you see afterwards that you can't. And then you keep chopping at it. Okay, that's what I did today. So, and then I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? So then I took a picture and I sent them to her, and she sends me a text back in capital letters and says, who did this to you? And I said, I don't know. I was assaulted.
Who did not recommend you go to YouTube and find out how to trim my bangs?
Oh, I didn't
even have Mondo. He's got tons of tutorials.
Thank you, Nikki. See,
I think they look beautiful. She thinks I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not.
See, that's how mine are. Thank you, Nikki. No, I never touch my hair. I love my hairstylist. That girl makes good money from this hair, but I messed it up this time. Yeah, I thought, why should I pay her just to go and it's far. It's like an hour and a half away, just one way. And I'm like, no, I can handle this. Well, I didn't handle it. But anyway, let's get back on subject here and not on my bangs. But on
I have to interject with a fact.
Okay, go ahead.
During President Obama's administration, there was 260 work days.
Wait, you blacked out there.
Across President Obama's administration, there were 260 work days, obviously without holidays. There were 8 years, which left 2,080 workdays. There are 68 immigration courts in the United States at the time, which leaves 141,440 just courts cases days to see people for immigration. That's only one case a day. So they see more than one case a day. So 2 million over the course of 8 years really isn't a lot. That's what I was trying to get to. They also said that there are 600, at the time, there were 668 different judges to those courts. So each one of those courts had 10 judges at least, or average. So they're talking about 10 cases. So that's 1,400,000. That's just one case a day would be 1,400,000.
But you're Jerry, and you're missing my point on that. Yeah, you might have had the courts.
Well, the reason we didn't hear about it is because it went over the course of time. That's my point.
But here's the thing: even if they went before the judge,
yeah,
why were so many of them turned away?
They were not granted asylum, I guess. And like I'm saying, that's one person.
No. Like coming from Mexico, the majority of people, unless it's like drug related or something, they're not applying. They're not applying for asylum. They're wanting to be able to stay here, because if they come on a work visa, they're paid like slaves. So if you come here illegally, you're paid more than what you are on a work visa.
Right. What I'm trying to say is only 1.4 people were deported daily. That's what I'm trying to say. Out of all the cases of immigration that they had at the time, only an average of 1.4 people were deported a day. So if a judge sees 10 cases, 1 out of 10 people, or 1.4, 1.5 out of 10 people. So statistically, it's not a lot of people. It's just when you hear it at the end. I mean, it was on the news. It just wasn't on the news until it was all over. Because
well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And I didn't like that. I just viewed him differently, and I didn't know that all this was done until afterwards. And I had a right to know while it was going on. I just think it was done.
That's just a matter of paying attention to it at the time. You know what I mean? There weren't mass deportations. I guess that's my point. If there were mass deportations,
I don't know. I disagree. That's a show for another day. But here's my question for you guys, because we're already almost an hour and a half in. So if you have any last comments for anything besides my bangs, go ahead and put them in. But and I'm being serious. But how do you feel about the situation with El Salvador receiving all this money, only taking? See, here is the thing. The president all along had said, and I want to be fair, I'm just going by his campaign speeches and stuff. And Leslie knows this from living in Colorado. Apparently in her city, there were supposed to be over 50,000 Venezuelan criminals there. Right, Leslie?
Yes, there's not.
Yeah. But he said we had over 2 million of them. And right now it's a numbers game. So why were there only a couple hundred sent to El Salvador? And then the few hundred that you sent, why were people from other countries sent there? And then somebody who was legally allowed to be here sent there? If you're going to make these mistakes on just a few hundred people, for God's sakes, what's going to happen when you get up to a few 100,000, 500,000, 1 million? Again, you claimed that there's over 2 million of the, yet you're not posting criminal records, their criminal anywhere. Criminal records are public record. Number one, you guys know that. But so why didn't we see? Because there was nothing known about these people. These literally were just people gathered up and thrown on a plane. Let's just say it. That's what happened. They were gathered up because of their skin color and because they had tattoos. And hi, Margarita. Margarita's here, Jerry.
Hello.
People that come from some of these countries that, believe it or not, their tattoos are not always because they're in a gang. Sometimes it's for protection from the gang.
And it's also, a lot of people do it for religious reasons.
For religious reasons, right. But these specific ones that the different gangs do, you know, and you can add other stuff to it or whatever. Sure. A lot of times it's for protection. Yes, there are some who do it for cultural reasons or religious reasons and stuff. But this little group of a few hundred people, this is my point, and I hope you guys get this, that If there can be such mistakes on a couple hundred people, and then we say, oh, and hello, Limber, I hope that we said hello to you.
Yes.
But if there can be such mistakes in a few hundred people thrown on a plane, and then we can claim that there's no way to get them back. Sorry, we can't help them. We can get news reporters that were off in countries that they never should have been in. We can get athletes that are smuggling pot into Russia. We can get them back. We can give up prisoners, several, to get that one person back who did break the law there. Yet now we're claiming that the country we've paid, that they can't give back a few hundred people? Come on, guys. Come on. And if this can happen, my point to this is, if this can happen to this group of people, what happens about the other groups that we're all in? What if I'm part of the Redhead Society? What if Jerry Ian is part of the Missouri Society? What if Leslie is part of the doesn't like bling and lives in Colorado Society? You know?
Leslie, I don't like bling either.
Okay, well there you go. So, but what happens then? And I'm serious. If
Yeah.
if no group is protected, realize we are all in groups. I know we've all heard, it didn't matter much when we were young, that Big Brother is watching. Now more so than ever, Big Brother is watching.
Yep.
Do you have any last comments for us, Leslie?
Well, you have a good comment or question on the screen. Limbar asked, I've been asking a lot lately. What do you carry with you at all times that proves you are a U.S. citizen if you're snatched up by ICE? I would love to hear your answers.
Okay, here's what people do not understand. Even if you have the driver's license with the star on it, which means you've been verified by the government, you have to, some people haven't even gotten to that point where, they've gone into renew to know to do that. It happened to me a couple years ago when I lost my and don't judge you guys, but I lost my
No,
driver's
never.
license 3 times in 2 weeks. And so then when I was there, Jerry Ann takes her glasses off to that, like, say
No, just
what?
because there's no more to read right now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. But 3 times in 2 weeks, I lost my driver's license. So on the third time, the girl was really nice. Her name is LT. Thank you, LT. Give her a shout out here. But she said to me, Rebecca, why don't you bring in the documentation and we'll scan it in? And then if you lose it again, all we need is you to just tell us your social security number. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah, that's all you have to do. So I have that driver's license. But guess what? My husband has that driver's license. We know people that have been jailed,
Picked up. Yeah.
picked up, both. Their driver's license does not matter. Whenever
Yep.
when ICE is out collecting people, they are just throwing you in the thing, and then they're taking you to a processing center. Just like look at Abrego Garcia. Do you think he didn't tell them that, hey, wait a minute, I'm allowed to be here legal? Do you think that mattered? It didn't. They
How about
just
the
said,
family in Wisconsin? It was a mother, a young child, a mother, and the grandmother.
and the
And they
grandmother.
were speaking
Mhm.
Spanish, and they got picked up and taken. They were Puerto Rican, and the daughter and son were born here in the United States. They were just speaking Spanish because it was easier for the mom because she wasn't born in the United States proper. She was born in Puerto Rico, which of course
Right.
is a territory, and it still makes her a U.S. citizen. But they got picked up, taken to a detention center, and then they had to find their own way home, which is one of the things that I think is definitely disgusting. We talk about people, how are they going to come home from El Salvador? They didn't get dropped off at the detention center. Like, you can't get an Uber from El Salvador. I'm pretty sure.
Well, but actually, Limber is saying a driver's license doesn't prove that you're an American citizen. But
No, I actually, if you
but what
guys are
it is,
interested, oh, go ahead. Sorry,
what
go
it
ahead.
is supposed to prove is that you have a green card, that you are a U.S. citizen. It's supposed to, you know what I'm saying? When you scan your stuff, they asked you that. Do you have a green card or are you a U.S. citizen? So that is supposed to be on your driver's license. But if you are, again, swept up in a raid, in a pickup, your driver's license doesn't matter. You know, it does not matter. And even if you have the wall size college diploma that says you're a U.S. citizen, even with a little copy of it, which is not legal at all, I could
Right.
make hundreds of copies and pass those out to people. That's not legal. It is a matter of the opinion of the person processing you
Yeah.
that can put you down as anything. Because now Abrego Garcia is a suspected MS-13 gang member. Or no, affiliation. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Affiliation.
affiliation. That's it.
Well, guess what? You could suspect me of being affiliated with them because I'm doing research on them. So what? You know. Oh, that's Mr. Cutie. Sorry, he's mad. But you know, any of us could get caught up in that. But especially if you're Hispanic, and when there is an agenda of a high number of people that supposedly are here, but yet we're not deporting them by the masses. And we just saw what happened with this plane of a couple hundred people. So, like, if it was a business, I would stop my business right there and say, we need to look at this. So,
Right.
I'm just saying, you guys, open your eyes, because if it goes from, and like, where does it blows my mind that Marco Rubio could say this with such a straight face. It's, to me, Marco Rubio, you have sold your soul. And I would say that to your face. You have sold your soul when you can stand up and say that other countries have generously offered to take our prisoners. What? You're not giving us a second Statue of Liberty. You're volunteering to take our well, why doesn't Hawaii volunteer to take me or Tahiti? You know what I'm saying? Come on now. But other countries can afford to take our prisoners and take care of them, and what, let them complete their sentence, and like I said, and then you're going to ship them back, or now there's of that, and you didn't even name what countries it is. So my point is just, you guys, open your eyes. The problem is, a lot of people don't care until it's in their own backyard. And
Go ahead. And
little do
Go
you
ahead.
realize it's almost in your backyard. You are watching the steps for it to happen. Don't wait until you look over your shoulder and there's something that says, "Boo." Then you're like,
Yeah.
So
The Columbia student. I just brought his name up because I'm gonna chop it up. Sorry.
Mahmoud Khalil.
Thank you, you say it. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Mahmoud Khalil.
They're even the politicians in charge. Let's just leave it at that. Kept saying he was on a student visa. He wasn't. He wasn't on a student visa anymore. He was a green card carrying. Like, what am I trying to say? He was he had a green card. He was ready to go for his citizenship and everything.
He was legally here.
Right, exactly. He came on a student visa, but he went and through the process of staying in the United States. And even our people who were detaining him were like calling him the wrong thing just to make themselves look better. You still made a mistake, and it's still your mistake, and you have to fix it.
But there's no crime that Mahmoud Khalil committed.
No, you're allowed to protest in the United States of America. And that's the part I was going to bring up that's really scary about all of this. Is they are trying, whoever they are, you guys can figure out who they are trying to silence the protesters. And that's where we have to worry. I actually read a statistic about
there is more division in the poor and ultra rich here now in the United States of America than there was during the Revolution of France.
Correct.
When they,
Well, but
yeah,
at Columbia
and that's like if they're
University,
gonna. Oh, sorry.
Columbia
Sorry, sweetheart.
University for decades, there literally have been like radical people that have enrolled there simply because they think it's a school that's going to fight for everything.
Yeah,
But he might have had a mouth and he might have organized things, but he committed no crime.
yeah, absolutely. But here's
So
what the point I was trying to make is that they're trying to let us not be revolutionaries. That's the point I was trying to make. They're trying to silence
to
those of
silence
us who want to
America.
complain. Yes. And where would we be when that happens? And that's what happened in Germany almost a decade ago. That's why we're worried about all this stuff. The mass deportations, the division of the people. Go ahead, honey. Go ahead. Sorry.
I have said since the last administration, though, and it carries on into this administration from Democrat to Republican, that there is an agenda to silence America, to take away our rights, and especially freedom of speech.
Last administration?
Yes, because you know what? I think that a lot of what anybody said fell on deaf ears. And
Well, that's different than taking away your right to say it.
No, it's the same thing. It's ignoring you.
No,
You
because
don't,
taking away your right to say it is putting you in prison for saying it. Not listening to you is just being ignorant.
no, well, or putting the fear in you. You don't have to be put in prison for your right of freedom of speech to be taken. You can be intimidated just not to speak.
Well,
You know
that's
what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah.
So that's my thing with it, is that now there's so many people fearful of things, and even I have to go back to the emperor's new clothes for a lack of a better term, but for Marco Rubio, who is halfway intelligent, to actually stand and say other countries are gracious. What? And you guys can pull it up about Marco Rubio talking about other countries being gracious enough to take U.S. prisoners.
Yeah.
So I, I just can't believe that for the position he was given, you know, to be part of the new cabinet and be the Secretary of State, and then to stand up there and say that another country is so gracious to take Americans. You know, that's just like if you have a child that misbehaves or they're ugly, you know, well, I don't want to say ugly, but maybe not as cute as what you want them to be or as smart as you want them to be. You don't get rid of them. If they do something bad, you don't get rid of them. And so, if we have a process that has been set up in this country, that if you break a law, and I'm going to say this, and nobody please slap my hand or talk about my bad bangs, but our justice system is not for justice, it's for accountability. That's all that it is.
Yeah.
So, like when a lot of times when people go before a judge and they say justice wasn't served, you're really not going to get justice most of the time in court, but they are going to hold you accountable. Depends on the degree, but they're going to hold you accountable for whatever you've done wrong. So, for this to happen, and we've had a court system forever, but now we're sending prisoners to other places. So, do we have somebody who goes and murders somebody now, and then when they go before a judge, they go, you know what? I don't want to stay here in America. I want to go to Aruba. I heard that plane is still half full for Aruba, and that's where I want to go. We don't have the right to be treating human beings, whether they've committed a crime or not. We have a system for that to deal with them. We do not have a right to treat them as possessions. They're still
Amen.
people. They're still people.
And the
So,
fact that they say that, and the fact that he says El Salvador was gracious after we already paid them, it's like the supermarket graciously gave me 10 pounds of beef for the $300 that I gave them. I mean, that's gracious of them to do that. No, you basically paid for them to take, you basically paid them to take these people off of our hands. It's just
okay.
So shameful. I'm sorry.
Leslie, do you want to read what Limber is saying? Because We think so much alike, it's not even funny.
Okay. I agree with you 100% on Marco Rubio. It is in our backyard. Um, at Mr. Picky, I only see civil war to regain our country from the current administration. Very scary times. Americans need to remember who they are and what they stand for. And then Mr. Picky says, give me an example of someone put in jail for using their freedom of speech.
Well, actually, one most recent is Mahmoud Khalil from Columbia
Mhm.
University. And he didn't commit any crime. It was for, he's always leading with all these protests. So, and
Against Israel.
yes, and I will text Nikki, Mr. Picky, with the correct spelling of his name, and you can look up the story on Mahmoud. But yeah, he's here
Oh, I
legally.
have the spelling. I just don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay, what can you
Um,
put it in the
Sorry.
chat so he can see it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
and then Limber says, I want proof. I want to see the 120-year-old Social Security recipients. I want to know who these gracious countries are that will take our prisoners.
Well, exactly. See, and on the 120-year-old Social Security people, that has been mentioned a couple times, and then it's been dropped because it's not true. And if you guys
Yeah.
ever bother to go and look at the Doge website, which according to Elon Musk is so transparent, he said actually the most transparent um, system that there is. Am I lying, Jerry? That's exactly
No,
what he said. He went
I'm
from
laughing
its
because it's so not true. But go ahead.
yeah, but he says go and look on their website. Yeah, go and look at the website and follow it. They're changing numbers all the time. Well, why do you need to do that? If you're the one in charge of government efficiency, then why are you not efficient enough to get your numbers right one time and post it? Like if my accountant did that, I would fire them. Fire them. So, just what I'm saying. Anybody else that we missed?
Limber says, you think alike because you're both educated. Um,
I like that.
and yeah, and that's it. B Lady says Elon is done working for the government in a week or so, she believes.
Oh, well, right now that's
From
the
her lips to God's
speculation.
ears.
Huh?
I said from her lips to God's ears.
Well, that's the speculation, but that's a whole nother topic, him exiting the thing. But does anybody else have anything on the immigration and deportation to El Salvador before we wrap up? I just don't want to miss anyone. And as I said earlier to Otter, is that Otter Mama?
Yeah.
Otter Hag? Okay, I get names
Yeah,
confused.
Adamama. It was, yeah.
Okay, but I want everyone to have, even if you don't want to be up on the panel, to have a chance to voice your opinion in the
Yeah.
chat. There is no wrong, there is no right. You're entitled to your opinion. And we have to be gracious enough to each other to allow other people, just because somebody else thinks different than you do, doesn't mean they're wrong. And
Yeah.
if we start cutting that off and we're only with people that are like-minded that we are, then your world gets really small.
Well, like-minded, yeah, I was going to say like-minded that we are. Also, the facts, there's we hear there's alternate facts. Go to the horse's mouth, go to the source. You want to know about immigration? Go to the ICE website. You want to hear about Border Patrol? You go to the Border website. Go to the government website. They'll tell you the statistics. Don't just listen to the newscaster tell you what he wanted you to hear. That's the
And
other thing.
yep, and B Lady, there was actually more than one person sent to El Salvador that should not be there. She said
Yeah.
she hopes that they get the one man back that was sent by mistake.
Yeah, B lady, what we talked about before is that one person just happened to have a family with money that was able to fight for him. I'm statistically speaking, there's definitely more than one person that's there on accident.
You're not even from El Salvador, from other places. So,
Exactly.
but I just want to say in closing, I thank each and every one of you that are here. Anyone is always welcome on the panel. Leslie just put my email in there. All you have to do is email me, have a chat so I can verify that you're a real true person. And,
Not
we'll
a
be
bot.
happy to have you on. Well, if anybody remembers that one horrible troll that we came in and I called him
Yeah.
out by name, do you notice he
Yes.
hasn't been back? I have a
Nope.
wonderful IT person that can find all these people with the fake names. They're
Yep.
able to say who they are. So, but
Okay, I
thank you,
got an email
Bestie.
address for you to look up.
Yeah, but anytime you want to join us, if you have a show topic, please let me know. Only thing that I ask is also too in the comments for the show, do not put negative comments there because at this point they're going to be deleted. If you notice last week's show, there's 0 comments because I deleted everything.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I
I
deleted
had no
some
idea.
nice ones by mistake, but I deleted everything. So I'm not going to waste my time on meanness and negativity. That's not what I'm about in the world. It's not
Yeah,
what I'm going to
there's
put
no
out
point.
in the world. And I just don't think I
Exactly.
need to keep justifying mean people. I'm just not going to do it. So that's right. Let me put her up here. Don't be dirty kitties. That's my thought. Don't be
That's
I'm
right.
serious. Don't be a dirty
Be
kitty.
pretty kitties. We only like pretty kitties. No dirty kitties.
Yeah. Well, it's true. So,
Yeah,
but there's just
I'm
so
agreeing
much in
with
our
you.
government right now to talk about. I swear, if I could do a 30-minute show every day, I would. I'm really passionate about it, and I really think now more than ever, it's time for the average American who never cared about politics, who knows nothing about it, to start opening their eyes and start looking stuff up because
There's too
this
many
is.
people. There's too many people.
Hmm?
Sorry.
And it's going to affect your children, your household, you personally. We have a lot coming down the pipelines, a lot. And if you don't know what is going on, again, you're going to look over your shoulder slowly and hear, boo, because your whole life is going to change like that, and you are not prepared. So, thank you, Monique, if you're talking about me. If not, good for whoever you're saying you're good at it. But just educate yourself. That's the best thing you can do. If you have questions, join chats, look up information. It's so easy. If you need help on how to start to look up a topic, email me. I'll be happy to
Yeah.
help you. So, because it's so easy. And I think next week I'm going to do a little plug for a book that I am just starting. That is an awesome book that I think everyone should read. I'm going to be sharing that. So,
Oh, good.
but I appreciate every single one of you spending your evening with us. I'm sorry we
Me
did not
too.
have a free buffet set up, but perhaps in the future we'll figure out how to do that. So, but we look forward to seeing you next week. I'm going to let Jerry take us out. And just again, when you go out into the world or even when you're home in closed doors, if it's on the computer or just someone you live with, be kind, be a pretty kitty. Okay? Pretty
It's
kitty.
free.
Meow meow. Yes. So love you.
And if nobody's told you today you're loved, you can always come by and hear how much I love you because we love you guys very, very much. And as always, take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.